We preview the Saluki linebackers as Andrew Bain joins us finally healthy as he gets through a fall camp. Andrew, we were kind of talking the other day at Media Day, just the differences that how you feel this year compared to last year at this time. Just take the fans through what a drastic difference it is for you.
Yeah, complete difference. I would say, first of all, huge shout out to Bree and Mike, the trainers down there, spending so much time with me. You know, finally figured out getting my injuries right. And yeah, now I'm just super excited to get to the season. So much fun to be out here with the boys again.
It's a room that really prides itself on the depth of the room. You're a guy that first comes to mind of a lot of people. It's been very impressive here in the summer and then early fall. What about the room? Like, what's the biggest strength of this room? So many guys who seem like they could play.
I think it starts at the top with Coach Mack. He sets the tone, and he's just, super personable with all of us. Takes the time to really get to know all of us, and each of us in the group, like you said, the depth. I think we all just love being here, love being around each other. So that makes us all want to work harder and spend more time around each other, in the building, working our craft together.
I'm sure if we took a poll of everyone's favorite Saluki assistant coach, it would be this guy. We don't need a poll, though. Mac McLaren joins us, linebacker coach for the Saluki linebackers. Coach Mac, being out here at practice, you guys had 2 days of practice, off day, and came back. How did you guys, one, handle the off day, and two, get right back after? It seemed like the energy was really high out here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think starting it off with the off day yesterday, I think Coach Hill and Coach Braun had a really good plan for us of taking advantage of that day, working with Meade, making sure the guys are getting their legs back. Obviously, day one with the heat was obviously, an obstacle that you got to handle and a challenge that we got to work through, but everybody's got to work through that, And I think day two, you saw obviously a little bit milder, and so we were able to kind of execute at a higher level. The communication was there. We were kind of feeling sorry for ourselves with the heat, I think, at times. And then, that off day was really good to kind of get those guys' legs underneath them, let us go over some installs, maybe some difficult pictures, and work through some of those issues. And then today, something we talk a lot about on defense is the way we play. And I think, if you ask Coach Braun, if you ask our guys, first thing we want people to say is not, oh, we're this, we're that. It's these guys fly around, they hunt the ball, they do a lot of good things from that standpoint. And as far as a position group goes, our pace and our violence and our consistency are things that we're going to talk a lot about. And those guys understand, that our consistency and our violence paired with the pace that we're going to play with, those are the things that we need to hang our hat on.
And Chris Presto, he's been a name that Saluki Nation's been able to get to know each year he's been here. Chris, just how has this opening week gone for fall camp for you? 2 days and an off day and now right back at it. How's the body holding up early on, Chris?
It feels good. Obviously the first 2 days, not much contact today. Felt good to get run through some people, create the contact. Like Coach Mack says, they have to block us, not we got to get off a block. That's how he states it for us, makes us just play super violent and aggressive.
You're a guy that's really had experience and started to get experience since you've gotten here. Where are you most proud about your personal growth, Chris Presto, and where you believe this year can be your best year and what you're really anxious to show in terms of the improvement you've made?
I just think coming in here at like 195 was a little scary going out there on special teams my freshman year. Getting up to like 230 has been probably the biggest thing. Like Coach Meade, I trust what he does. He got me right, obviously. And the experience thing, it's good. I'm glad I got to play as a freshman on special teams and a little bit in those games that we were up big, because my sophomore year, I was used to it. I was used, especially, it was a big task going to start at BYU. So that was really fun.
Stephen Green, who's continuing to just be one of the hardest workers within the linebacker room and definitely make some flashes out here at Saluki Stadium during practice. Stephen, appreciate the time. You bring a lot of things that necessarily I don't think can necessarily be coached. Your toughness level, your physicality, everything in terms of the practice in the room. What do you believe are your biggest strengths that you bring to the linebacker room and make everybody around you better?
Yes, sir. I feel like my biggest strength is my speed to power. A lot of guys don't really have that, and I feel like I can show that really good.
Talk about physical nature. Maybe not the tallest, most physical, imposing guy, but man, your mentality on the field doesn't even match. Like, how do you describe that mentality that you get when you're out there on the field and how it really flips?
Yeah, well, I was never the biggest growing up, so Coach Brian, shout out Coach Brian for the Raiders Little League. But yeah, he always told us lowest man wins, so always just bite down on that mouthpiece and give everything you got.
It's really hard when we do these position previews, especially when we get to your group, because it's like, all right, when we can only pick 3 guys because your room is just stacked with so many guys that we can't all get to. How do you balance that competitive nature in the room? There's only a few amount of spots of guys who can start. yet the culture within your room is really high. A lot of the guys credit you. What do you credit as finding that balance of the right mentality, everything you've talked about, to also speaking of, hey, this is a room where Saluki fans can get used to. There's going to be a lot of names that they could potentially see play this year.
Yeah, and I think, starting it off as a culture, as a standard of a program, it starts with Coach Hill. The first thing he talks about is consistency being a superpower. And, that bleeds into our culture defensively that Prawn has laid. But as far as a room standard, those guys credit me. We are a unit. We operate together. There's no tiered system. The piece is not more important than the whole. And I think that's something that I take a lot of pride in, is the way they are with each other. There is friction at all times. And that's okay for me, right? We need that friction. We need Suge to rub people the wrong way. We need Beamer to be on top of people. We need Bohannon to set a standard of operating. And I think all those guys lean into the expectation that they have set as a cultural standard in our room. I'm just driving the bus. You know what I mean? I'm just here to make sure the kids can get on the ride. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to keep us on the rails. But no, I think when you think about the standard that we have as a defense, obviously starting with Coach Prawn, but Coach Hill setting that standard of consistency being a superpower, and you got to give a lot of credit to Prawn. As Prawn's came in, and he's been demanding, he's been clear, he's been detailed, and those guys have responded to that.